So when we start to scout an opponent, so the goal here, right, is to kind of take you guys through a week and what that looks like from us, okay? When we start to scout our opponents, we're in there early Sunday morning. We get the yesterday's game out of the way quickly like you guys do. Our first thing when we scout an opponent is we try to look at it initially from a really wide lens, a big perspective, okay? We start with full games. First thing that we do is we watch every one of the games that opponent has played, okay, from beginning to end. And the thought process there is we're not specifically looking at, what exactly do they do in the red zone or what's their favorite blitz on 3rd and long, all of that. That's going to come later on as we narrow the focus. But the beginning is, let's look at the full game. Let's get a feel for what this defense is about. Let's get a feel for their personnel. Let's get a feel for situationally kind of momentum spots in the game. What do they like to call? What's their bread and butter? It also will show you how they've evolved each week, because I think sometimes we can get so locked into watching cut-ups that you see different snapshots from this game and then that game and then that game, but it doesn't really tell the whole story. And so I think you can learn a lot, and for us it's chronological. We start from game 1 and watch all the way until the previous week's game and try to get a feel for the journey that defense has been on. So start with the wide lens, and then we start to narrow the focus. From there, we move into formation cut-ups, we move into situational cut-ups, and then at the very end, specific looks. And this is throughout the entire week. What we're looking for is pretty simple. What do they run? And I think this is big, this second bullet point up here. What do they run, but how do they run it? I think the more specific we can be ourselves, and then in turn, when we're trying to transfer this information to our players, the better we're going to be. Meaning, we can sit here and say, all right, hey, this group runs a lot of cover 2. Okay? The reality of the matter is we all know we can look at it, and if I watch 10 teams run cover 2, I'm going to see cover 2 run 10 different ways. I'm going to see somebody walling it. I'm going to see somebody trapping it. I'm going to see Tampa. I'm going to see just pure zone droppers. I mean, I'm going to see a team that's a hard reroute on the outside. I'm going to see a team that's very soft on the outside, different depths of safeties. I mean, everything different, okay? So I think we got to be careful just walking into a game plan meeting with a quarterback or with whoever saying, well, hey, they run cover 2 this week. Well, that's great. If let's say you played a team the week before and their version of cover 2 is different, are we explaining that? Are we explaining the differences and how they actually run it, as opposed to just giving them some buzz keyword that's maybe too general? And so how do they run what they run? Again, when do they do it? And then matchups, okay?